everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Relationship Entertainment TV. I'm your host, Felicia Dortch, with the news you can use and the ish you don't want to miss. Y'all see I am rocking my Steelers gear, 7-0. Had to represent. I know next time I'll have my Relationship Entertainment TV shirt on, host shirt on, but I had to represent for my Steelers. It's been a long time coming. So I know you guys have been enjoying my videos. I've talked about a wide range of things, but unfortunately, I have to circle back around to COVID. I know COVID's not going anywhere for now. I almost think we're gonna follow the same pattern as the Spanish flu and be around for the next year or two. Hope not. But the reason why I wanted to bring it up, because our numbers here in Houston, Texas, where I live, are continually to go up. We have never left the severe or red category here in Houston, but our positivity rate did decrease to less than 5, which allowed some more things to open up, like more of the bars, movie theaters, theme parks, things like that. But now it looks like we are faced with the same situation again. The hospitals are becoming increasingly more filled to capacity and beyond. I have not heard if we are using the Children's Hospital as of yet. I did hear in El Paso that they have done a 2-week shutdown because they are filled to capacity. They're at capacity in their hospitals. So I imagine the next step would be to bring some of those patients here in Houston, if we can even accept those patients. So in the other video, I talked to you about the flu season coming up along with COVID. And that was one of the things that I was extremely concerned about, because they mimic the same symptoms. You know me, I love to be transparent. Last week, my twins were both sick. And with twins, one tend to get sick, the other one is inevitably going to get sick because they share everything. No matter what you try to do, they tend to share. They're 14. You would think those days are over with, but no. Give you a prime example. We get to the hospital, the doctor's office, and they go and they swab them, because I always, ever since birth, if one gets sick, I automatically take the second one. Because they, like I say, they always get sick. They're always very close to each other, or they tend to share their drinks and things of that nature, even though I tell them not to. And we're in the doctor's office. We leave the doctor's office. One twin has strep throat. The other one has a cold, just a viral cold. And they did swab them for COVID. Both of them were negative. Thank you, God. And we get in the car. We get home. I stop and I get them some lunch. We get home. Actually, this was week before last. We get home, and what does the twin with strep do? He offers his drink to the other twin. And I'm like, no, do not do that. You cannot share your drinks, guys. Like, really? So we have to be very careful with all of this that's going on, along with the COVID, the strep throat, the flu, and, things of that nature. So my reason of bringing up COVID again is not to just let you know again, here we go. We may be stuck in the house again here in Houston. We may be under tougher quarantine measures. It's more so something that was very phenomenal that I'm excited to talk about. We have a team that created a mobile COVID-19 testing lab, and his name is Tate Foley III. He created Texas Mobile Medical Labs, and on Monday, he tested his 500th person. And this is awesome, guys. This is a teenager who decided that the way we were testing was not as effective. So he saw a problem, he met the need. So this is why I'm so excited to talk about this. And just to give you a little bit about the article, it's from KHOU Channel 11's news article. It says a Houston teen is on his way to changing the world. At only 18, Taft Foley III is on the road to making his dreams come true. So Foley III has taken it upon himself to create a mobile COVID-19 testing lab that gets people COVID-19 test results within minutes. Okay, and he's still in high school, guys. This is phenomenal. And this is so needed, because the very first time that I got exposed to COVID. I went to my parents' house and my brother was there and he was positive. He didn't know it. He was positive. And I went there to check on my mom and he was there. So of course we got exposed to COVID. Well, I went to go get a test. The very first day I went, I sat in line for 4 hours only to be told to come back the next day. Didn't even get the test done. Okay, so then I went a couple of more days trying to find different places to get tested. Same thing. Well, then we went kind of further out of Houston, like almost to the country, I call it, to get tested. And we were able to get tested and it was a 24-hour turnaround. But I still didn't get the results in 24 hours. I believe it was a couple of days, which is better than a couple of weeks. However, the system that they had was, they were so overwhelmed. I verbally heard the results, but couldn't get the results on paper, which as a registered nurse, I have to turn the paper in showing that I am COVID negative. So with having something like this to be able to get results within minutes is astounding. So Taft is already one of the youngest EMTs in the state. He already has his EMT certification. He finished his EMT course this summer and he waited 2 hours to get tested for COVID and another 2 weeks to get his results. So that was the problem. That's when he decided he needed to figure out a different way to be able to get results to people quicker. Because mind you, back to my story, I was tested. They sent a phone call. I talked to someone 2 days later. I was told I was negative from a registered nurse. But I couldn't go back to work for another 2 weeks because I was still waiting on them to process the lab. All they had to do was process it and actually put it on paper and email it to me. I essentially ended up having to drive back out of town because it was about an hour away from where I lived to actually get them to hand me the paper showing that I was negative for COVID. With this situation or what he's doing, this is great. You pull up, or they pull up because it's mobile. They test you. Within minutes, you get your results, write it on paper, go on about your way. By August, he had his Texas Mobile Medical Lab van rolling. So this is a quote from Taft Foley. People need help, and I have the resources to be able to provide that help to others, so I don't see a reason not to. This is just phenomenal, okay? So his reasoning for do this, he said, while I was self-quarantining, I thought to myself, there has to be a better way. And that's when I decided to really do some research. And that's when I found 15-minute test and got the idea to go to the people, which is great because remember, I talked about this before. The same thing with voting. You know, I was telling people to call and see if someone don't have a ride to go get tested. You know, we need to be tested because some people are walking around here without symptoms. They're spreading COVID around and don't even know it. So he saw the need and he met the need. He stated, we average about 30 tests a day, which is pretty good. The other day, we actually ran out of tests for the very first time, which I was very excited about. So people are taking him serious, even though he's 18. He has found something that works, that people are gravitating to because it's quick. Again, I got a rapid test done, got the results via phone 2 days later, but got it on paper almost 3 weeks later. You know, so I couldn't stay off from work for 3 weeks. You know, luckily I worked from home, but what was stopping me is I see patients on the weekend. I couldn't see any of my patients. So another nurse had to go out and take care of these patients because I didn't have a physical paper saying that I was negative. So Taft Foley is a senior at the Kincaid School, and he has had to cut things out like wrestling to launch his business. So this is how following your purpose is so amazing. You know, he went through something that he felt was a problem. He had to be tested because he wanted to go to school. He wanted to get his certification as an EMT. He couldn't move forward to do his clinicals, which is something that we have to do in the medical field. You do the certification test and then you have to go practice on what you're doing, which is in clinicals. You can't do that if you don't have the proper labs in order. Even when I went to nursing school, I had to get all of my Hep B, you know, the Tdap, all of those immunizations. I had to show documentations. If I didn't, I had to redo them and then bring the paperwork in before they would allow me into the hospital to care for other people. So he had to do the same thing to be able to, do the EMT certification and do his clinical training for the job. So he stated between AP tests and applying to colleges, Taft is staying focused on his long-term goals. So one day he stated one day he wants to be a doctor. So this is absolutely phenomenal that someone of his age thought through to the other side, because we tend to think teenagers think about what's going on right now and how it affects them at this moment. And then that's it, and it's usually not something that big that affects everybody else. It used to tend to be something that's self-gratifying for that moment. Although what for him it was self-gratifying, it still got him what he wanted, but it helped millions. It will help millions. Right now he's covering the thousands at this moment. I'm sure by this week, because this posted last Monday and he was at 500. And with the increase in COVID that we're seeing here in Houston, I am pretty sure that he is staying pretty busy this week, and it's literally just now Monday. So again, make sure you get tested, and please, I encourage the flu shot. I talked about this before. I understand people are saying, oh, I got the flu shot before and I got sick. There are so many different strands of the flu. My son actually got the flu shot and got sick, but it was a different strand of the flu and it was less severe. He had the flu and we didn't even know it. He had no symptoms. I took him because, again, his twin was sick, and I always take them at the same time no matter who is sick, because inevitably the other one's going to be sick as well. So again, make sure you're getting your COVID testing. Our numbers here in Houston, Texas are steadily increasing, and people are getting sicker. Our hospitals are becoming over capacity to the point where we're eventually going to lead into using the Texas Children's Hospital as we did before. Also a reminder, if you haven't gotten out to vote, get your votes in. Here in Houston, we actually have some drive-through voting that's available, and it's 24 hours, which is pretty cool. I've never saw anything like that. On tomorrow, there's been some concerns here in Texas about the when the results come in, how people are going to act and how they're going to receive them. So I just encourage you to be safe. If you don't have to be out for any reason, don't be out. A couple of stores, when Walmart closed, that's pretty terrifying because they don't close for anything. But some of the Walmarts are closing due to the results of the voting, and they're just concerned with people's safety. So keep your hands washed, keep your face covering on when you're out. Make sure you get your flu test, and just be safe out there, guys. And thank you so much for tuning in to Relationship Entertainment TV. I'm your host with the news you can use and the ish you don't want to miss. I'll see you Thursday.